Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How we doing today? Good afternoon. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello. What up, my brother? How you doing today?
What up, P? How you doing, bro?
Man, I am good. I am good.
How your weekend been
Everyone,
so far?
everyone. You say what?
How your weekend been so far?
Man, it's been good. It's been good. Not bad at all. What about you?
Man, I've been having a good weekend, so been spending a little time with the kids. Always a good thing, man. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I've been out car shopping for my daughter, so
Okay.
you know how that goes. Definitely a challenge. We're trying to find a car in the market, but we having fun as we go, so it's nothing but good stuff, bro.
That's called a responsible papa. That's what that is.
Man, try to be, bro.
That's what that is. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Guys, I had a heck of a week this week, man. We got how can we say invaded? Somebody hacked our account and it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy trying to get it back and trying to get stuff, but we did it. We back. And that's why we're a little bit a day late because we just want to kind of get some stuff together, but we are back. We are back. My brother, what we talking about today?
Man, we got an interesting title today, man, and
Okay.
we're just talking about responsibility and accountability.
Right.
Responsibility and accountability, and just learning what accountability is and what responsibility.
You know, just doing my research for this show, man, um, I think this really makes you look into self and really just try to educate yourself on different situations, man. But yeah, it can get crazy sometimes.
Yeah,
It can get
yeah,
crazy, but and I think it makes you look deep into yourself to see who you are and what you're doing. So, so yeah, so yeah, so let's dig into it. Let's dig into it.
all right. So my first question to you is when it comes to responsibility, what are some of your major or your biggest areas that you have to find yourself being responsible in?
Um, I'm going to say first and foremost, my life statement is God, my wife, right?
Hmm.
So my responsibility, first and foremost, is to be a husband, and really, and I know this sounds crazy, but really kind of just learning this, not only to be a husband, but try to be a respectful husband, a with compassion, right?
Right.
So every what I mean by that is um, sit back and try to be the calm one in the situation, and it's kind of a role reversal now. Just try to be as calm as possible, and say, you know what, I'm looking at things from this way, this way, this way. And I think once you understand in any relationship that it's no way out, this is a forever thing, stuff starts working out how it needs to work out. Because that's my belief. This is a forever thing. It's we have to get through this. We have to get over this. This may be something that we run into again. So let's resolve it now, and let's understand how to resolve it. And let me know what your feelings are. So the next time this comes up, I'm a little bit more sensitive to that, or I understand how to handle that, or I understand how you feel about that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. What's your thoughts with that?
Man, that's good. That's good stuff, man. And I think growth can't happen until you truly have an understanding of what responsibility is. I think a lot of times people are given roles and they don't truly know what they ought to bring to the table. And so if you don't
Mhm.
know what role you have to play or bring to the table, then you can't truly be held accountable for something that you don't know. But it's up to
Right.
us. It's our responsibility to know what we're required in each and every role in our life. And for me personally, it's being a father, it's being a trainer of so many people throughout the week, man. For a while, I didn't look at how many people that I was training throughout the week, from kids to adults. Once I looked at it, man, it's easily 75 to 100 people that come in and out the gym on a weekly basis. So there's a responsibility that I have with making sure I'm the best me in order to be good for them. So number one is making sure that we take care of ourselves first. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And just being the best version of ourselves. So that's the first responsibility, is making sure that you're the best you in whatever area that takes. So that's where it starts.
So, um, in what area of your life do you feel you need to be the most accountable? That's like number one for you.
Okay, when we talk about accountability, to me that's taking ownership of the results. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So if you're gonna take ownership of the results, then to me that simply means that you must make sure that your faith without works is not dead. You got to put work to whatever you have faith in. You have to make sure that you make it happen. When it comes to business and when it comes to being a father, I have to make sure that I make that happen. And so it's not pointing the finger as nobody else, is what I bring to the table. And
So as a not to cut you off, I'm sorry. I'm saying as a father, what how do you feel you're accountable? How do you feel you need to be more accountable?
the number one thing, man, is making sure that my kids don't make the mistakes I make. So teaching.
Okay.
After love is teaching. So the first thing I would say is love. I have to make sure that I'm showing them that I love them, right?
Okay.
And that could be a various of things. And I use technology. If I'm not there, I'm gonna make sure that I FaceTime them. I'm gonna make sure that I call them. I'm gonna make sure that that line of communication stay open. So that's the first thing, is just showing that you love and finding different ways to be creative to do that. Sometimes that don't mean spending money. Sometimes it absolutely means spending it. So number one is you have to show your love. Number two is you have to teach. You know, and within teaching, that's correcting, constructive criticism. Make sure that we pass that to our children, because that's only how they gonna get better, if they know the truth about the situation.
Right.
So that'll be, for me, it'd be them three steps: love, teaching, love, and teaching.
Okay. 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 Um, how are you being responsible as a father?
Ah, man.
And
For
and
me,
and what's the difference? And what is your opinion of the difference in accountable and responsible?
all right, I'll break it down like this. Uh, being responsible is knowing the role that you play, right? I know the role that I'm supposed to play in their lives, to be that support, to be that love, to be that figure, to be all these things, right? Being accountable is saying, now that I know the role, now I'm going to take that role and I'm going to make sure that I'm in charge of the outcome. I'm in charge of the result that come from it. So that's simply saying, okay, I know I'm supposed to love them. Now I'm responsible for doing it. Taking accountability and saying I'm responsible for the outcome. So if my kids was to get of age and they don't know a certain thing, then I have to point the finger, not at their teachers, not at the community, not at the president, but as parents, we gotta point our finger at ourselves to say it's my job to make sure that they have what they need on the educational basis, on the spiritual basis, on the mental basis. So you just gotta do whatever you can, man, and you have to wear different hats. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, you got to wear different hats, bro. So
Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
So,
What do you see the difference between responsibility and accountability? What's the main difference between the two?
I think for me, it's accountability is checking myself. I'm that's just my definition
Hmm.
of accountability.
I agree.
Being accountable for what I need to do and kind of checking myself is stuff that I have to do. That's what accountability for me is.
Hmm.
Responsibility is saying um, I'm responsible that this happens, right?
Right.
It may not be me doing that. It may I'm a business owner, so it may be just me delegating, but making sure it happens,
Hmm.
right? And I think accountability for me, I apologize about that. I think accountability for me is making sure whatever I need to have done, that I'm getting it done.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's more personal.
Yeah.
I think accountability is a little bit more personal to me um, because it's something that I'm in control of.
Right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Um, and what areas do you think you've grown as in accountability over the years, from adolescence into now?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's an everyday process for me,
Right.
right? Um, I tell you this a lot. I think just doing this show for us is making me more accountable because we're doing research, because we're looking at, and then it makes me look at different things and say, okay, you know what? I'm way off.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't been doing this. I haven't been the man I'm supposed to be in this area. My intentions are good, but my actions aren't.
Yeah.
But I think it's
I agree.
just being repetitive in knowing different situations or understanding different situations and researching it,
Hmm.
and then it being brought to my attention,
Yeah.
and then me looking at what I'm doing versus um, what I'm not doing.
I
You know what
agree.
I mean?
And you know what I think, man? Knowledge, your knowledge, it changes everything, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so if we're going to grow in accountability, or if we want other people to grow when it comes to accountability, we have to provide a way for them to get certain knowledge, because how can we hold someone accountable for something that they were never taught, or they don't know, or they wasn't exposed to, right? And so the
right.
more our knowledge increase, you'll be like, I actually thought I was right in this area, but come to find out I was wrong. And so that's how your accountability can grow, because knowledge is definitely power. Knowledge
I,
is
I
power.
I think even as a business owner, right?
Hmm.
Um, right now I'm in transition going into another business, and I'm kind of it's something that I don't have expertise in,
Right.
but it's something that is business, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But I think just sitting back and saying, okay, you know what? I'm going into a situation that I'm investing probably the most money I've ever invested anything into in my life, and I'm having to trust people because I don't have the skills to implement what needs to be done.
Hmm.
So I have to delegate. I have to look at situations, and so um, I think that whole situation is accountability.
Yeah. I like that, bro. And
Yeah,
that's powerful. But so, in my opinion, it needs to be our responsibility to hold ourselves accountable to get more knowledge. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
should know a
yeah.
little bit about everything. You should know a little bit about everything when it comes to business, when it comes to politics, when it comes to whatever going on. You want to know a little bit information about it, just so you can have a conversation, or just so if somebody else having a conversation, everything that they saying won't go over your head. You understand me? So you
Absolutely,
could be in the ballpark just a little bit, bro. Yeah.
a- a- absolutely, Absolutely. Um, in your business, where do you feel like you need to be more responsible?
Um, just with stand technology, man. Technology is is continuing to take off. So
Okay.
when it came to doing posts and doing reels and doing things like that, in the beginning it was something that I was uncomfortable with. But if you want to, you know what I'm saying, if you want to stay in the flow of things, you have to use technology. So to become more technology savvy, to use different platforms and to get the word out there, because that's a way to get the message out there, And so, like,
Okay.
especially like I do a youth program, and there's
Right.
still some people in our city that don't know about the youth program. So it's my job to get that message out there. And one of the things that I'm mostly proud about is in my youth fitness program, we added a reading literacy part. So not only are the children coming and exercising, but they're reading. They're reading, they doing meditation. And so we're working on the mind, the body, and the spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All in one. So different people need to know about it. The more people know about it, the more help you can get, or the more
Right.
kids might come and join the program. So that's an area that I want to, get more sharper in, and just knowledge all together. You can never have
Okay.
too much knowledge for at any skill, trade, or anything that you do. You can never have too much knowledge. So I'm always trying to add more knowledge to it, man, just so I can give more. I want that cup to run over, so I have some overflow.
Let's dig into this relationship a little bit with this, right?
Right.
So, um, going into relationships, um, how do you feel like you could be more responsible, or I'm gonna say proactive, in a relationship?
Knowing where you are. Well, for me personally, knowing where I am, what season I'm in, and knowing
Okay.
exactly what I want, and not settling for anything, other than what's going to compliment me. If I'm being 100% real, which I am, and when it comes to being 38 years old and single, right? I truly believe I'm single because I take accountability for being single. I don't point the finger at nobody else or why relationships didn't work. I take
Okay.
accountability and say, I'm not married to this day because of something that I did do or something that I did not do. Something that I needed to add to myself to make myself available and ready. Because it's one thing to be single, it's another thing to be available and ready. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you have to have a combination of things. And
Okay.
we all know you could put something together yourself, but when it's ordained and it's spiritually led, then it's going to be a different process to it. So I take accountability for not positioning myself correctly 100%.
Do you think accountability has anything to do with expectations?
Say that one more time.
Do you think accountability has anything to do with expectations?
Yeah, I think so. It
Explain.
it, it
And
matters.
I'm asking that. I'm asking that for a reason.
Accountability and expectations is gonna matter because when you mature, you're not gonna hold somebody else to a standard that you can't keep up yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
immature, then you will. But if you
Yes.
mature, you're not gonna expect for somebody else to jump over the moon if you or whatever the case is. So
You hit it right, the nail right on the head with that.
right, right, right.
You hit the nail right on the head with that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it has to do with being mature. So absolutely, absolutely.
yeah. So when it comes to marriage, like, and this question is not directly towards you, it's indirect. When it comes to
Okay.
marriage, and it comes to a lot of guys that complain that in the bedroom, their wife feeling like their wife has lost the thrill, or the thrill isn't in their marriage, however way they put it. Do you think that the man should take accountability for that flame being let out, or do you think equal parts? What's your thought on that?
I think it's a two-way street. I think it's a two-way street. I think it's the man responsibility and the woman responsibility. Everybody has to be responsible, right? And
Right.
I'm gonna say, um, I think the older you get, the more you start turning that finger like this to like this, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I think you start pointing the finger more at self than your partner the older you get, or you should. And the reason why I say that is the older I get, the more I understand I'm in control of me
Hmm.
and I'm half of the problem, right? And
Wow.
I need to fix this half of the problem before I can go pointing the finger over there, right?
Right.
So if I can get half of the situation solved by how I conduct myself or how I handle situations, that's half of the battle,
Right.
right? And that's just how I start looking at situations, right?
Uh-huh.
Because starting out in a relationship, I'm like, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. And what I realize is that is so selfish,
Right.
right? Because I'm asking you to change and conform for me, uh, and I, I'm supposed to be the man in the relationship.
Hmm.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
so
think that's powerful, man. Because if a situation gonna change, everything gonna start within. You know, and I
uh-huh.
think it starts with the way you view it. So you could view it differently even before there is a change. If you
Right.
view things differently before the change come, then your mindset won't be so fixated on the negative in the situation. You
Um,
know.
I'm gonna say this, and I think this is really powerful for me, and really, um, how much you love someone, um, determines how, for me, how much I'm willing to change or what I'm willing to do,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
And I say that because you have to question yourself with that too, and say, you claim to love someone this much, but what effort are you putting into that,
Right.
right? And a lot of people aren't. They, you can say everything with your words, but your actions should be speaking louder than your words, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
powerful, bro. I agree 100%, man.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. So how does vision play a part in this to you?
Your vision play a big part of accountability because you have to see it. You have to see it even when you don't see it. And that could be very difficult for a lot of people because you got to step outside your shoes, you know? You got to step outside your shoes. And for me personally, it just it means saying, okay, what if this person is right and I am wrong? Or to try to look at it from their point of view and saying maybe I am wrong, or how
Right,
can I make it better? And that goes in different. You could use that as a universal remote, and it'll change the channel to anything. That's entrepreneurship. That's being a father. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And they know whatever it is. You have to step outside and see it. So if you don't have that vision to see things better, then they won't get better. So
Right.
vision is number one. That's really the first step to accountability, in my opinion, is your vision.
Okay.
Yeah. So you definitely want to make sure that your vision isn't limited, man. That's the main thing. We can't allow
Uh,
our vision to be limited on what we see instead of what it could be.
I guess my definition of vision is this: is looking forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my when I think of vision, I think of how would I like a situation to be, right? And what am I visualizing our life of our situation from this point to that point?
Right.
going forward, right? So when I think of vision, I'm thinking of the future, looking forward, something that's not that that we're working towards,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my when I say vision, that's what I'm looking at. I'm just saying, how am I looking forward to something, or how am I? Um, what is my goal tomorrow?
Okay.
What is my vision for tomorrow? What is my vision for us in the future?
Right.
That that's I guess that's how I would describe that.
I like that. So I
Yeah.
definitely got a question for you when it comes to vision and accountability. What is the greatest vision that you see for yourself and your wife and your marriage together? What's your greatest expectation or your greatest vision?
Um, I put a lot on our shoulders. I'm not going to say on my shoulders. I'm going to say on our shoulders, right? Um, family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are so fortunate in our jobs, our education, our just everything. And so the love that I have for my family, I want them to have some experiences that we have.
Okay.
And so my vision is to put not only myself but my family in a situation to where they can reap some of the benefits that
Gotcha.
we have and travel, enjoy life, and just everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess that's a vision that I have or something that I'm looking in the future towards. You know
Boom.
what I
So
mean?
how are you holding yourself accountable to make sure that that happens?
I'm starting different businesses,
Yeah.
and I'm really doing that because I look and say, okay, you know what? I have aunts on both sides, my wife's side, on my side, that are retired.
Right.
Their um, pension stays the same, but everything else goes up,
Yeah.
right?
And that
And
sucks.
so all of our life they helped us.
Uh
So
huh.
how are we helping them? Who's looking out for them, right? And how is their life going to be in 5 to 10 years from now, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking about, and that's why I'm looking and saying, okay, you know what? How can I be of service?
Okay.
And I just feel like starting different business, doing different things, to where they have money that they could dip into to help, or just try to help any way I can. You
I
know what
like
I
that.
mean? Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
So I just think that's important, and I think you have to plan ahead for that also.
Oh,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? You have to plan ahead for that, and yes, stuff is getting gas prices is really high. Everything is just really going up. Like I said, I was telling you the other day, I'm even my prices for my services are unbelievable.
Right.
Right? But they have to be because everything is going up. But I'm just like, wow, with what we have to charge or what the prices are.
Hmm.
Just being totally honest. And I'm a business owner, and I'm saying wow at what I have to charge. You know what I mean? So yeah. So yeah.
That's good.
Um, so taking ownership,
Hmm.
right? So how do you feel about taking ownership of different situations?
I think that's it's very important because if you
Okay.
don't take ownership, you leave your fate in somebody else's hand, and that
Somebody
somebody.
said gas is terrible. I just went to.
Yeah, if you don't
Sorry.
take ownership, man, you leave that fate in somebody else's hand. And it kind of remind me of that old saying that say, "I'm the captain of my ship,
Right.
master of my fate." You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be the captain of your own ship, if you're gonna know where you're going and where you want to go, then you have
Okay.
to take ownership. You got to put that weight on your back and not wait for somebody else. That's one of the things again that I love about the youth program that I'm doing. um, I gained so much as a child when it came to working out and being in the fitness programs. And so
Okay.
my whole idea was to create one of my own, but add more to it, from the reading literacy to, I even have a vision of traveling with kids, taking
Right.
them out of the city of Saginaw and letting them explore something different, giving them a different experience. When it comes to knowledge and experience, then their expectations are gonna change.
Okay.
Their expectations not gonna be the same because of the experiences that they had. But if we don't give them experience and we restrict them to one environment, especially if it's a negative environment, that's what they adapt to, right? And so, when it comes to spending time with them, sometimes when they meditate, I tell them, hey, just sit there and think positive thoughts. And to be honest with you, man, I've seen a big difference, in the ones that stick with the program. In the beginning, a lot of kids were playing doing meditation. Now it's to the point to where about 90% of them take it extra serious. That's their time to think. So now that we
Right.
got their minds moving forward with the positive thinking, now we have to find a way to give them that different experience.
Okay.
And their whole attitude gonna change, their whole mindset change. And so for me, it's important to give back and to reach the youth at an early age. And so that's part of my mission to, one day have multiple locations where we all on the same mission to help the youth, because a lot of times once they get to a certain age group, if you miss them, then you miss them, and they only gonna hear you from uh, being under consequences, right? Consequences from actions that they made, which mean they locked up at this time. But if you can catch them before that happened, then you could plant that seed in them, because we got to understand the enemy planted them seeds early through
Sure.
social media, through music, and through any and every negative thing. So it's just important, man, that we do our part, and that I hold myself accountable to say I'm gonna be that difference maker and do whatever it takes to make that difference. That means providing a place. That means putting
Okay.
people together, knowing that it's bigger than just me. And so we all have a standard, man. And if we all just do our part, then we become better. But if we get to that point to where we stop taking accountability, till we wait on somebody else to do it, it won't happen. And it don't
Mhm.
matter who the president is, it won't happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I like that, brother. I like that. Um, how does faith play a part of you being accountable and responsible?
How does faith play a part?
Yes.
I would say faith gonna play a major part, because you have to stand on something that you can't see. You have to have an expectation of something that's sometimes could appear to be a giant, right?
That's that vision. Yes.
That's that vision. So
Yep.
you facing a giant, and like I told you before, this last location that I opened, as far as a fitness location, I did it in the midst of a pandemic, like when the
Okay.
pandemic was really just getting going. And some people was like, "Man, you tripping? You opening a gym right now where gyms are closing?" But I knew that the kids was at home, right, and they ain't had no outlet. So I said, we're gonna make sure that we build a safe environment for them. So they had their masks on, but we made it happen. And we had to
Okay.
do more sessions with smaller groups, because you wanted to make sure that you stayed within the guidelines. But you have to see it when nobody else see it. I really look
Right.
at it like this, P. Sometimes, man, you have to be laughed at. Your dream got to be so big until people laugh at you and be like, "Man, this dude tripping."
Yeah. That that's always
Yeah,
right.
you have to
And
be
and,
laughed
and
at.
and I say that because if what you're seeing or what you're going towards, everybody sees it and understands it, it's probably not worth doing because somebody else is already doing it
And it ain't big
in your
enough.
area.
It's not
And
big enough. Yeah.
I think a lot of times God gives you vision and gives you light on different things and say, hey, move on this because I gave you this and gave you these skills for a reason.
Right.
I think with me is even as far as giving,
Right.
I always say God blesses us to bless others. right?
Right, right, right.
So God blesses me with this so I can bless someone else,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because He trusts me with this, because He understands what I'm going to do with it. You know what I mean? So I just think that's really important.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I love when the same ones that laugh at you, they have to come back and congratulate you indirectly or directly. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because sometimes they indirectly congratulate you. If you need my service, then you congratulate me. You ain't saying it with your mouth, but you congratulate me because I
Yeah.
stood the test of times and I
Yeah.
proved your thought process of I couldn't do it wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, people got different ways of congratulating you, but it's going to happen, and it's up to us to remain humble, to keep our eye, set on the bigger goal. But,
You know, it's funny. I was just telling you yesterday about a situation
right.
um, that we were talking about, and I was saying it hurts now, but what are you doing about
Yeah,
it? Right?
yeah.
It affects you now, but this is 100% gas prices being this high, fuel to your engine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So we have to self motivate and then use different things for fuel to push us forward,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's not to say, look at me, but it's to move you past this situation,
I
to
agree.
move you to another situation, and in moving in that situation or moving into that area, to just say a silent thank you
Yeah,
to not only God but even to that person for the fuel, for throwing them logs in the fire.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. And it take a tenacious person. You have to be tenacious to say, no matter what the situation is, I'm gonna make it through, and I'm gonna, be successful. And that's what we ought to say. No matter how high gas prices go, no matter how much war go on, we got to make sure that we strong enough to say, I'm gonna make it through. I'm accountable. I'm taking accountability to have self-preservation.
It's a
It's up to
competitive
you to
nature,
have
bro.
self-preservation. Can't nobody else do it for you.
Right.
And we talked
It,
about this before, but on the airplane, what did it say? In case of an emergency, first put your own oxygen mask on before you
yeah.
help assist
Put
somebody
your
else.
mask on first.
Yeah, so you're accountable to take care of yourself first. If we
Right.
never do that, you can't take care of nobody else. You only giving somebody uh 10% of the 50% you, and ain't nobody getting nothing.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
man, we're accountable for that, man. So we have to make sure that we continue to tell ourselves we're gonna make it, no matter what adjustments that we have to make. And that's really what life is about, and business is about. This journey is gonna be full of us making adjustments, and the people that make adjustments, they're gonna thrive, and the ones who don't
Yeah,
make.
someone just said in a comment we can't allow excuses to come in. Amen to
Hey, them excuses everywhere, man.
that. Right.
And I tell people sometimes, bro, I wake up in so much pain, I be like, I'm not gonna make it today. But it seemed like, bro, as soon as I get to moving, certain muscles start loosening up.
Right.
And about 10 minutes later, I feel like I'm 27 again. But
Man, listen. You know, I think it's just constant go time, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I wake up, I look, and just try to step back and enjoy.
uh-huh.
You know, I was seeing you with the kids and just the joy that you have. And then I sat back and even saw, I sent Chris a video, a Harper. She was singing karaoke. And he was like, Uncle Chris, you ain't got nothing on me. But it's just the joy of seeing that, right?
Uh-huh.
The joy of saying, okay, you know what? It's not about me, but it's about me helping somebody else and benefiting their life or their situation
Yeah,
that I get pleasure out of, or that we
yeah.
get pleasure out of that. You know what I mean?
That's powerful. And you
Yeah.
know what, bro? You know what I did, bro? Because
What's that?
my visitation rights got sliced down to every other weekend, right?
Okay.
And instead of complaining about it, only seeing the kids twice a month, I said I'm just gonna enjoy the time that we do have more. And so I was listening to a speaker talk, and they were saying sometimes we don't enjoy the moment until it becomes a memory, right? And
Yes.
so I made
Right.
myself accountable to say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the moment. So it's just that, hey, I'm here now. We both alive. We both healthy. Let's enjoy this moment. This time right here is so precious because it could be a year from now that we complaining about the gas being what it is now, but it could be a year from now where it's $10 a gallon, or we don't have no gas at all. So just enjoy what we
Right.
have now, so that we won't get to the point to where, you know what I'm saying, we miss it, and it just become a memory. And we know that memories are great, but they can't do anything for us. But the time that we enjoy now, it absolutely can. So I made myself accountable to do that, man. Just enjoy the here and the now. No matter, you know, what the bank account look like, no matter all the challenges that we all face, because we all face them,
Right.
just enjoy the moment.
Bro, that is so deep to me, especially what we're going through with my grandmother, right?
Right,
And it's right now. Thank God um, for the convos,
right,
just the conversations, just
yeah,
the everything, right?
right,
Because it's going to be a point in time where I don't have that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then uh, yeah, yeah, for uh, wow, yes,
yeah. That
yeah,
moment is everything, bro. It is.
just in every aspect of your life, um, you just start looking at it and saying, you know what, let me be grateful, and then let me reflect back, look back at what I didn't have, and to where I am now, and be grateful.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, it is,
That's
man.
pretty,
Because most of the challenges we face, not all of them, but most of them, they just loud. You know what I'm saying? It is meant to distract us, to get our attention.
right.
You know, and so the world and the enemy know, once I got your attention, now you can't focus on your goals. Now that you're
Hmm.
not focusing on your goals, you can't hold yourself accountable, or you won't hold yourself accountable, or you won't take the steps that it take in order for you to be successful. So a lot of things is just really just to get your attention. It's just loud noise.
Hmm.
It kind of reminded me of that time in the Bible, when the wind became boisterous and the
Okay.
Messiah was walking, and he told the wind, "Peace, be still."
Yep.
And so a lot of times we just have to find that inner peace, and that peace is within us. Again, the situation around you don't change, but if you change the way you look at it, then it won't bother you as much. And that's going to help us with anxiety, and that's going to help with depression, and that's going to help us not to be an enemy within ourselves. It's
Right.
gonna help control the enemy. But that noise, man, it gets loud, and that's all it is noise, though. It can't hurt you, it's just noise. But it'll make you hurt yourself just by your way of thinking.
Yeah. How do you think admission is important in
Admission,
responsibility and accountability?
how
Admission.
admission is,
Yeah. How do you feel like it's important?
I never thought, I don't think I thought about that. When you say admission, in what way do you mean?
Um, Admitting to, saying, okay, you
Oh,
know
okay.
what?
Oh, thank you.
Admission.
That's
Yeah, because
big.
when
Like,
you,
I'm gonna say that's accountability. That's like acknowledging, right? If you never acknowledge
well,
that you need
okay,
help,
so I'm accountable for this situation.
okay,
Um, you know it, this other person know it, but you're like, okay, I'm not. You have to admit to, you know what? This is my responsibility.
right,
I'm going to take this by the reins, and I'm responsible for this. Just verbally saying it and a mission, saying, you know what? This is mine,
uh huh,
right?
uh huh,
And I think that's, I wrote that down because I thought it was really important to say, okay, you know what? We can say it to ourselves, but admission to that, to the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's really going to hold you accountable and really say, you know what, this is mine that I'm taking responsibility for. This is mine that I'm taking accountability for, and I'm in control of this situation.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that comment. It said somebody said that's the only way to move forward in life, and
And I
I
think
agree because
especially, not to cut you off, especially in relationships,
yeah,
right?
because it makes
It,
communication better.
yes,
Communication is key, and so
yes,
if you never have admission and admitting, then you take that part of communication away that makes communication effective.
right,
So yeah, that's definitely a very important key.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I was saying. I mean, I think in both areas, admission is really important.
Yeah.
I think it's more important for the other party, right?
Hmm.
Just giving them understanding um, to say, you know what, I understand I'm responsible for this, and um, I got you.
Yeah.
And I think it's just putting a security blanket around the person or the situation to say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of this.
When it comes to men, why do you think it's difficult for most men to admit their errors or their wrongdoing? In your opinion,
Arrogance,
huh?
arrogance, arrogance,
Take your hat off and say
arrogance.
it. No, that's it, bro. Pride.
Yeah,
And we know that pride leads to destruction. Yeah.
right.
Arrogance and pride, man. You
Yeah,
you you absolutely right, bro.
yeah.
That pride, man, and you will never get nowhere with having that, man. That's something I try to pray for daily because sometimes we have it in areas that we don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Just
And,
prideful.
and yeah, yeah. But you know what? I think we need to have a whole conversation on that.
On pride?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
because it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing, right? I mean, it's holding us back from so much.
It
Um,
does because you stop growing. Whenever you stop learning, whenever you think you know too much, you stop growing, man.
right.
I've been in the fitness field for about 15 years now as a
Okay.
trainer. But it's so much to learn, bro. I learn on a daily basis because
Right.
your kids gonna be different from your adults. Your adults gonna be different from the elderly. Each age group, man and female, is different. It's so much that you could learn, and it just become a beautiful thing when you stay open to learning. But when you close that door to learning, not only do you close the door, but you close the window of opportunity, and you
Right.
stay in the same place, and you think you stay in the same, but you really, that's when you really start dying. You start dying. So we want to be like that tree that continue to blossom, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Somebody
Absolutely.
say pride cometh before a fall. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that.
When you stop learning, you spiritually die. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
man.
Wow. And again, man, I'm so grateful for our followers and just, man, just the love and support that they be reaching out. You know, I'm so um, grateful, man. And like I said, a lot of our growth is because of you guys. The questions that you guys throw at us, or um, just everything, man. It's just so appreciative. One thing I did want to fuss at the followers about, I'ma just, this was crazy, and I'm just gonna admit to it. So last week, this was hilarious. I cut my mustache off, right, and or my beard off because I was shaving, and couldn't go to the barbershop because I ended up catching COVID, and so I ended up doing it myself and messing up. Ain't nobody say nothing like this dude look funny, but a couple of people said, a couple of people, but their close friends said, "What happened to your face?" Right. So one thing about me, I can definitely laugh at myself, okay? And I have no problem with somebody being like, P, are you sick or you ain't right now? You know what I mean? Renz will do it on the regular.
I got my hand raised. Can I say something? Call on me. My hand raised. Call on me, please. Call on me. You gotta call on me.
Listen.
Call on me. My hand raised.
Go ahead. What you got to say?
Well, you looked like Pee Wee Herman to me, but the topic in the conversation was so good. I was like, I'm just gonna let Pee Wee. I took accountability to leave Pee Wee Herman alone, so we was good.
My God.
I knew you was going through, and you was fighting that thing like a champ. So I was like,
man, listen.
I was like, let Pee Wee Herman be great.
Man, listen, I ain't gonna even lie. I got up. I'm sitting here. I was really sick last week. I'm sitting here. You knew, but I don't think everybody else knew. And I'm sitting here, and I just broke out in sweat. I said, hold up a second. I got a fan. It was crazy for me last week, bro. It was crazy, but we got through it. We better. I'm better. The wife better. So we move on. But y'all got to hold us accountable for our look, too, now. Come on now.
Nah.
You can't be out here looking crazy. Y'all supposed to be family. Family tell the truth.
But in all seriousness, man, I'm happy that you made it through and that you you held yourself accountable to continue to produce a show, even with being sick and funny looking. You produced a good show, man. So it shows a lot about your integrity and your willingness to push through.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
So what's your final thoughts, man, with accountability? What you want to leave now?
I feel like it's super important. And I think this is more about self-preservation, right?
Right.
I'm saying being accountable and being responsible. Accountability and responsibility. I think it's what happened?
No, I was laughing at somebody say we was focused on the topic.
Good. No, but I think being accountable is extremely important, and especially being a man, because we have to have standards for ourselves and say, okay, you know what? I'm accountable for this and I'm responsible for this. Yeah. And so in order for me to make the people around me better, I have to make me better, and I have to have standards and morals and say, okay, you know what? My word means something. And I have to be held accountable for certain situations and hold myself accountable for certain situations. So I just think it's really, really important. That's the main reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because just getting back into a personal situation, I talked to you about this. I said in my relationship, earlier in my relationship, me and my wife would get into it, and I'd be like, oh, I'm leaving, or I'm this, I'm that, right? And quitting on the relationship at that particular time or whatever. And I felt like, looking back at it now, that was a coward, right? And I say that because she's never came at me or said anything to me like that, right? And I wouldn't quit on a boxing match or this, and that, but the most important person in the world to me, we claim to love, we would say something hurtful or act like we're going to quit on a relationship or quit on a situation, right? And that's coward to me. And so and saying that just really made me think about it and look at a situation and say, okay, you know what? And I had promised her years ago, I said, you know what? I'm never going to do that again, because she had explained to me how it made her feel. And so from that point, I've never did it again. But just remembering that and bringing that back and just say, you know what? It needs to be talked about, because we claim to be so tough in so many different areas, but we cowards when it comes to certain things and say, you know what, man up. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna man up and say I ain't quitting on this or this, why would you quit on love or your mate
Right.
or God's gift? You know what I mean?
That's true.
That was my final thoughts on that, brother.
That's good,
Not
man.
trying to get all crazy with y'all about that.
No,
But,
that's real, man, and we need that transparency though, bro. So
yeah, yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
And your final thoughts? What is it?
Man, my final thoughts is just certain steps that come with accountability.
Okay.
Those who know me personally know my favorite job title, responsibility is fatherhood. By far, I love fatherhood. I have a 17-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son, and I wouldn't trade this experience in for the world. I love fatherhood.
Right.
It's challenged at times. You know what I'm saying? It's very much challenged with having to only see your kids every other weekend and go through different stuff. So when it comes to our youth, I want to talk to our boys about the importance of taking accountability where you put your seed, parenting, fatherhood. Like we have to have these conversations with our boys so that they know like it's way more to it than sex is way much bigger than just laying down and having an orgasm. When you bring a life into this world, and certain things will be challenged if you don't have accountability to do this thing the right way. So there's conversations that need to be had. And so amongst the many things that I do in my youth fitness program with the reading literacy, when it comes to the teens, I want to have a parenting class. I think in the African American and the minority community, we don't do that enough. And so me personally, I was 20 years old, a week before my 21st birthday, before my first daughter was born. At 20 years old, I should have been in somebody's college educating myself, but I'm making kids, right? And so we should have more parenting classes to where they properly plan that thing. I think we need to be more proactive on that instead of reactive. And so I've been spending years being reactive on something that I should have been proactive on. And so that's one of the steps when it comes to accountability is being proactive instead of reactive. Speaking up, admitting your errors, accepting criticism, staying focused, communicate better, and simply just showing up, what you did last week. You understand me? And so it's just important, man, that we be proactive in every area with this pandemic, and you know, with the inflation on everything, and showing each other love. You and I do a good
Hold up
job
a
on it,
second.
but we got to spread it.
Stop. She said it's not just the sex. It is. It is. I'm kidding.
Listen, the more I pray for him,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm silly. I'm sorry. I'm like, wait a minute.
Nah, it affects you though, man. It affects you in different areas that you wouldn't even know, knowingly and unknowingly, man. So it's just better to to just I can't even be serious no more. Be proactive, man.
I know, man. When I see that, I say, hold up a minute, man. We're going too far now.
Yeah. Yeah, just having sex will get a brother in a lot of trouble, man. And
Man, listen.
Get you in a lot of trouble.
Talk about that, but we're talking about as a kid, as an adult. I'm married. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Well, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. And like I said, another successful show, man. I really enjoyed this conversation. And
somebody said sex is important.
It definitely is. And I think it was important that we have this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I just wanted to, anytime we're on here, I try to be as transparent as possible or as honest as I can be. And I don't want to ever offend my wife or bring our personal situations without her permission.
There you go.
But a lot of times I'm just an open book. But I think a lot of our mistakes are what makes us better. And
Absolutely.
I think God put us in a position to blesses us to bless other people, right?
Right.
Again, to be as transparent as possible sometimes. And say, okay, you know what? This was a mistake I made. This was a mistake I made. And we just go from there. You know what I'm saying? We learn. We learn. So grace. Yep. So,
That's it.
all right, all right, my brother.
These
Thank you
comments is
guys
pretty
again.
good.
Huh?
These comments is pretty good. Healthy
Man,
sexual
listen,
relationships
they be
are
coming,
important.
man. I be seeing them, but to be honest, I see a couple and you be talking, and I don't want to cut you off, but the sex one, I had to cut you off because.
No, you didn't open something with that door now. So somebody just commented, they said, healthy sexual relationships are important. I don't know, man. We might have to have a conversation. We got a few conversations to have. We'll talk about that later, though, bro.
All right, all right, all right. I
Yes,
got
sex is.
you.
Yes, healthy sex
They
is the
coming too,
move.
man.
Oh, they talking about healthy sex is the move.
Oh my goodness.
It sounds like they trying to pick our next title for us, bro. I don't know.
Let's get it. Listen, I'm for all the smoke. You know what I mean? I ain't afraid of these conversations.
Healthy
I
sex
definitely,
versus
I'm
healthy sex
definitely not
versus
afraid.
any sex.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you like I tell Chris. We
Oh,
out of
wow.
here. Get off of my phone. I love you guys and thank you guys for the support and everything. Thank you, thank you,
Wait a
thank
minute. Wait a minute, brother. Wait a
you.
minute. Wait a minute. All right.
What you got? What you got to say, bro?
Healthy sex. They talking about, okay, so this is gonna be the next topic. They picking it.
Okay, what is it?
Healthy sex versus toxic sex.
Our next week conversation: healthy sex versus
Toxic
toxic
sex.
sex. That's our next conversation.
All right, so it's set in stone.
Thank you, guys.
They're
Y'all,
gonna do
y'all made
that
our
right
right.
before
We're
Father's
gonna
Day.
do our homework, our research, and we coming with it. We coming with it.
The day before Father's Day. That's why a lot of people was fathers. So that's a good topic.
Let's get it.
All
Let's
right,
get
bet.
it. All right, my brother.
All
Thank
right,
you.
champ.
Yeah.